Good afternoon. Today we are doing CO27. I can find a percent of change. So perhaps we've encountered one or more of the following situations. Last year's 8th grade class had 40 students. This year's class has 50. What is the percent of increase from last year to this year? Or maybe the total snowfall in winter last year was 47 inches. This year it was only 28 inches. What is the percent of decrease from last year to this year? How about a bottle of Mountain Dew in 1998 was only 99 cents. In 2023, that same bottle of Mountain Dew now costs $2.19. What is the percent of increase in price? Or maybe the original price of an 8 gigabyte iPhone in 2007 was $599. Today, you could buy one on eBay for $30. I'm not sure why you would want to, because it's not going to have a good operating system. But what would be that percent of decrease in price?
The very first iPhone I've gone up in price.
No, nobody wants it. It would go up in price.
I have a
Okay, guys, we're gonna focus. To answer questions like the ones above, we use a special formula. Just like with our part equals percent times whole, we had a formula. We have a new formula that we're going to use. So it is super important that eyes are up here. We're not having side conversations. This is important. I'm not just going through this just for the fun of it. We use this kind of math all the time in the real world. So let's focus on our formula. We're going to put the difference between the two values. If we're finding the difference, we're not wanting to find a negative number. Difference means you put the big number, subtract out the small number. So it doesn't matter if our original number is bigger or less than the new number. We want the difference, no negative numbers. Big number minus the small number. And we're going to always divide that by the original value. So let's go back to answer each question using that formula. Now, on the math packet, I've had multiple people come up to me and say, what are we supposed to round to, Mrs. Gambino? Should we just give the whole number or should we round? And I said, oh, well, let's look at the directions, because in the directions on our math packet, it said to round to the 100th place. Look at today's directions. It is telling us round to the nearest 10th place. So in your answer, you should round to that 10th place. And then it says show your work. So you're going to write the calculation down so we know what you were doing. So in our students question, last year's 8th grade class had 40 students. This year's class has 50. What is the percent of increase from last year to this year? How do I set up my formula? What equation? Matthew, please, eyes up here. What's the equation going to be, Grace?
50 minus 40 over.
So what's the original value? Last year's 8th grade class had how many students? 40. So you always have to look at what the original number was. Last year was this, and then it's changed to this year. So our original number is going to be that first number. When we find our difference, we're always going to subtract big number minus the little number. Doesn't matter which order they were. Hayden, we're in the middle of a lesson, so we're not using the passive. We don't need to.
It was in my backpack.
Okay, just set it down right now. We're in the middle of a lesson. Let's focus on math. So even though 50 is the new number and 40 was the last number, it's still a difference of 10. We don't want negative numbers when we find a difference. It's just the difference of 10 divided by 40. What is 10 divided by 40? Jude?
0.25.
0.25. Now, the question is, what is the percent of change? So how do we make 0.25 into a percent, Lucas?
You drop the decimal point and add percent. Okay.
Drop the decimal and add the percent. Now, in the directions, it said round to the nearest tenth. So, if we had 0.25, why? So this is the question I had from Mr. Schultz. The directions said round to the nearest tenth. But we're doing percents, and percents go out to the hundredth. So here's what I would like you to do. I would like you to cross off the tenth and write hundredth, because when we work with percents, we're going to go out to the hundredth place. Okay, so cross off where it says round to the nearest tenth and write hundredth, because percents go to the hundredth place. Make sense? All right, let's look at our snowfall. What is my equation I need to write? Grayson.
47 minus 28 divided by 28.
Original value.
Divided by 47.
Yeah, that original value is going to be that first number in our equation. The total snowfall last winter was 47. That's our original value. Okay, so always that original value is that first part of your problem. Peyton.
The question before our original value is 40.
Right, because that was the first thing it talked about. So if I scroll up.
Yes.
Original value.
Yes.
First thing. Original value. First thing it talks about.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if it's the bigger number or the smaller number. Some will be increases, some will be decreases. The original value is the first part of your problem. So, original value. Original value. That first part of the problem. Those are the original value that goes on the bottom. On the top, we want difference. So it's big number minus small number. Doesn't matter the order it was in the problem. It's big number minus small to find a difference. But we're always dividing it by that first value. That is our original. And trust me, that confuses people all the time. So we want to keep going over it so we remember original value is the first one. Finding the difference is big number minus the small number. Will?
What is going to be the original value if, what if they said this year, something cost $50, but 2 years ago, would this year be the original value?
Whatever came first, because then it would be a decrease for what it was before. If it was something like, whatever comes first is the original value. So we had 47 minus 28. The original value is 47. So 47 minus 28 is
19.
divided by that 47. What is our percent of change going to be? What's the decimal we get? So let's look at our decimal first. Olivia?
4. 0.4.
0.4.
Yeah.
So what is our percent of change?
40%.
40%. Let's look at our Mountain Dew. What is our equation? Owen?
2.19 minus 0.99.
Where did you get 2.19 from? In 1998, a 20-ounce bottle of Mountain Dew was 99 cents. Do you guys have the same problem that I have?
Yeah.
Oh no, mine says in 2021. Because this, remember, my book is older, so that's why
If you just print no pages, or, that's the computer.
it's got the answer key on it. So just very small things have changed. So in 2023, I'm gonna have to update this mine. What is the price? $2.09. 19.
What was it in 2021?
In 2021, it was $1.89. So it's gone up in 2 years. It's gone up 30 cents. So using the correct year, 2023. So tell me your equation again, Owen.
2.19 minus 0.99 divided by 0.99.
I'm not sure why I'm hearing conversations. What is, I have to stop looking at my book. What is 219 minus 99?
1.2.
1 point what?
2.
0 2?
No, 1.2.
1.2.
So $1.20. Okay. Divided by 99 cents. What do we get for our decimal?
1.21.
I'm just catching up on my book here. So we get 1 point, say it again, Grayson. Okay, so we round it to that 100th place. So what is our percent of increase? Blakely? Percent. Because we're rounding to the 100th place, so 1.21 is what percent? No points in percentages. Oh my goodness, no. 1%? We went from 99 cents to $2.19 and it only's going up 1%? Does that logically make sense? What should it be, Fiona? 121% increase. Holy smokes, it went up a ton. 121% increase. Yeah. Yes.
Next year might be 2024.
I know. I'm gonna have to pay attention to that next year. But he's gonna change it for next year's, by the way. Okay, the iPhone in 2007 was $599. What do you have it for it being today? Is it still $30? Okay. All right. What's the equation we are setting up? James.
599 minus 30 over 599.
So 599 minus 30 is 569 over 599. What's our decimal that we get? What is it?
0.95 if you round.
0.95 with our rounding. So what percent is 0.95? 95%. So on the bottom here, they, instead of giving us a word problem, they are giving us the original and the new. So when we work that out, again, we're doing percent of increase. So instead of going to the 10th, we're going to the 100th. Because percentages places, we're going to the 100th. Okay? So rounding to the 100th for our percent. We want to find that percent of change. How do I set up? Original is 90, new is 130. What is my equation, Kyle? Yeah, this one they make it easy for us. They're telling us straight up this is the original number. It goes on the bottom. Doesn't matter which is the original and which is new for the top. It's big minus small. So what is my percent of change if my original was 90 and my new was 130? Christian,
44%.
44%.
Oh, 44%. Oh, yeah, 44%.
I asked for the percent of change, and he straight up gave me that percent of change. Should you write the decimal just in case you get it wrong? So we know where we went wrong. Yeah, you could write that decimal. Maybe you might round wrong. So if you got 45%, you were rounding wrong, right? You want to pay attention. On this, so you're gonna do the last three on your own. Do we understand how to use the equation?
Yes.
Okay, so on the second page, we want to show our work. You're gonna write out what the equation is that you're doing. We're going to find our answers from the information they give us. Find the percent of increase between 1800 and 1850. So 1800 is my original. So I know 1800, I'm going to put that number on the bottom. And I want to find that difference between 1800 and 1850. So we're going to write these big old numbers out because we have to show our work so we know what numbers we are supposed to be subtracting and dividing by. So you need to write your calculation out. That is showing your work. Then you can put it into your calculator. But you have to show your work. I do not just want to see an answer. The directions say show your work. You need to show your work. What would our percent of increase be between 1800 and 1850? Who has figured it out already? Lucas. We don't joke around. This is math class. Gabe.
4.36.
That is not what I got. So if we have 23, oh, okay. What did you get, Kaylin?
I got, 53048.
Kyle, what did you get? So that is not what I have written down. So if we have 23,191,876 minus 5,308,483, I get 1788393. So 17,883,393 divided by 5,308,483. I get 3.368833055. How do I round that to the 100th place? Those of us telling me 336, why is that wrong? It's not 3.36 when I round to the 100th place. What is it, Adeza? 3.37. My 6 is followed by an 8. I need to round up. So my answer is 337%. If you write 336%, it will be wrong because you are rounding incorrectly. You must round correctly. Kaylin. You could have. Yep. Addie.
It's not about that. It's just.
Okay, then let's just wait because we don't have a lot of work time. So on the second page, you need to find the difference on top, the original value on the bottom. So we are looking at word problems, answering these word problems, using that information from the top. Any questions? on finding that percent of change? Any questions at all? Okay, we are correcting this tomorrow. So we're going to use our work time wisely. We do still have religion that we need to do. I'm not sure, I might squish it together with tomorrow's. We'll see how today's work time goes. So quiet work time. If you are watching this at home, I hope you are well. I hope to see you soon. Have a wonderful day.